Hey, what is going on? So this is your stimulus check update information. I want to get you caught up on all the latest details. The House has already passed the big giant stimulus bill. It's got to go over to the Senate. They got to work on that. I want to get you caught up on some of the states that are sending out stimulus checks, plus some of this other information that's coming out right now. I guess there is a deadline from the IRS. You can't file the returns. You have about a month to apply for this to get another $1,400 stimulus check. I'll cover that really quick for you. And then Social Security, they're talking about getting another fourth stimulus check out, maybe the $1,400 stimulus to Social Security. And I want to cover some of the details for that. But for right now, you have this big, giant stimulus bill. It looks like it's going to be the next big social and climate bill passed in the House. It's already passed in the House. It's already been approved. It's got to go over to the Senate. The Senate's got to vote on it. Now, they have about, a couple weeks to get this done. There's two things they have to work on. They got to get the debt ceiling raised up. The debt ceiling is crazy. Every few years they do this. They go back and forth. Republicans don't want to vote on it. Democrats don't want to vote on it. It really depends on who's in, who is the lead in there. So don't think the Republicans, like if we get Republicans in there, that they're somehow going to make this better. It's not going to happen because they're going to spend just as much money. They're going to continue to devalue our currency so bad. And it's going to continue to raise inflation. But right now you have until Christmas time. Now Chuck Schumer said he'd like to get the chamber to pass the so-called Build Back Better plan before Christmas, but the roughly $2 trillion measure needs to be hashed out before passing the House of Representatives on November 19th. Since the House already passed it, there's a lot of stuff in there that some of the Democrats in the Senate don't want to vote on because they think it's just too much money. They think there's a bigger problem. I think the government right now has a spending problem. I think they're just not they're not bringing in enough money, and they just overspend so much, and they just have there's just no control on them. And I think something's got to happen with that. I do think we're going to shift into a digital currency at some point, but for right now we have to just continue to rely on them to send out payments in order to get people caught up on that. But the new plan is going to have some new stuff in there like paid leave. It's going to be immigration stuff. There's going to be this climate change stuff. There's also going to be the child tax credit that's going to be extended out. Are they going to possibly maybe get a monthly payment going out to everybody? I think the child tax credit is the first step in order to get everybody start on a monthly payment. There will be some type of universal basic income. The universal basic income has to start with the child tax credit, and that's giving families a monthly payment. Those monthly payments are going out every month. There's like $300 for kids under the age of 6, and then you have $250 for kids between 6 and 17. But those of you that don't have children, possibly something in the future that they'll start to figure out how to get more payments out to everybody. But in order for get a universal basic income out to everybody, I think they have to first kind of do baby steps to get that done. They have to start with the children and the families and all that, then they'll work into getting other people set up for that universal basic income. But this is going to be the first step when they get this whole giant bills passed. And inflation is going to be a real problem coming into some of the holidays. You're going to see rising prices, and it's because of the fact that they're printing out so much money. The federal government has a big spending problem. They're going to spend another $2 trillion. They've already spent close to $5 trillion this year already within the Biden administration, and he hasn't even gone through 1 year of his administration yet. So just think of the next 3 years. They're probably going to spend anywhere from $10 to $15 trillion. That's going to put massive amounts of inflation out in there. And so that means prices are going to go through the roof on just about everything from groceries to, gas prices, all that. But for right now, they're going to try to get this passed before the end of December, and I'm going to keep you updated on all the details of what's happening with this climate and social spending bill. Social Security stimulus checks, they're going to try to get out $1,400 stimulus checks. Again, they're pushing for this because of the fact that inflation is rising so quickly right now. The Social Security benefits, you have this Senior Citizens League. They're trying to put pressure on Congress to get this done. They're going to raise Social Security payments are going to be going up by 5.6% this year. It's going to be the biggest raise since 1983, I believe. But they also want to push for another $1,400 checks. But they got to get Congress to pass this. If they don't, then they'll just raise the inflation. They'll just raise up the percentage. And right now it's 6.2%. is what inflation is right now. I think it's even higher than that. I think it's more like 11 to 15% inflation every year. But they're going to up the, I think it's 5.9% is going to be the new payment that's going to go out to everybody. The problem is that people don't understand is that with inflation, they're going to give you money, but if this money is not being caught up to inflation, that means you're going to get basically stolen from your savings account. So your savings account is getting very, they're stealing from your savings account because of the fact they're not raising these prices, or given the cost of living adjusted for inflation. Because inflation is a lot higher than 6.2%. It's more like 10, 11%. But if they can get this passed, then they'll have another $1,400 checks going out to senior citizens. So it looks like these plus up payments are still out there and they're still available. It looks like you have till December 31st, 2020, get your returns in. If you get your returns in, then they're going to look at your filings from the year 2019 and 2020. And then if they see that there's a difference between whether you had a good year in 2019 and then not so good year in 2020, they'll send you out a plus up payment to try to get you caught up to that $1,400. And that'll get you there. Now, if you haven't filed your returns, you can do that. And if you have any children, obviously in dependents, you can pick that up. Now, with dependents, I think dependents are also grandparents, family members, anybody that's dependent on you. You can claim them on your returns, and you might get a $1,400 check for those dependents. Again, if you do have children, you can pick up those payments, and you would be able to get that monthly payment going out. So they're going to try to get this moved forward, to try to get this happening. But again, you have till December 31st to get the plus up payments when you file your returns. I don't know what they're going to do after that. We'll have to see in this new bill if they can get some type of universal basic income going out or a fourth payment. But definitely they'll get the child tax credit payments through the year I think it's 2022, and then beyond that, they'll probably just keep extending it out. Because once those payments get into the system and people start getting reliant on those, there's no way they can just stop those payments. So if you have any questions, drop those questions in the comments below. I'll be able to answer those for you right here in this video. Again, stay tuned to these videos. Keep coming back because I'll keep you updated on all the latest stimulus check updated information. That way you get covered on what's happening with the latest stimulus payment.